And we're back. We're live. It's Tuesday evening, 8 o'clock. As always, we go live. We've been doing this now, maybe I think since November last year. And these lives are for our students and the members of the YouTube channel. We have a WhatsApp group where people ask questions and we come on here and answer them every Tuesday. So how are we all doing today? We have a few coming through, a few stragglers. Who do we have there? Are we on YouTube or Facebook? What's the crack? I'll give it another few minutes there. Yep, people are trickling through. So we're going to get straight into it. Yeah, so as always, I like to get straight into a few congratulations. So on the left, we had Adam pass today in finglas with Peter. Congratulations, bud. I'm delighted for you. We also had Adisa with Peter as well in finglas. Congratulations, really impressive result. Only one grade two, if I remember correctly. So congratulations to both of you guys. We had Raphael with James in finglas. Congratulations, bud. Great photo as well. We also had one of my people there, Vegeta. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I'm sorry, bud. But passed in Tala, standard issue. We'd expect nothing less. Well done, bud. Now, these two made me really happy. On the left, we had Georgina. Done a couple of pre-tests with Georgina. Excellent driver. This meant a lot to her, and I couldn't be happier for her. I'm so proud of her. Also, I hope you're watching, Georgina, and I'm so happy for you, and best of luck in the future. Also, on the right-hand side, we have Melody. Melody was one of my girls, and she was in finglas. And Melody was the lady that was in the last mock test video with myself. And in the mock test, we didn't pass the mock test, but that's why we're here. Everybody that does them videos with me, they go on to pass that test. So far, it's 100% record. So we figured out what she needed to do. We fixed it, and she passed. So I couldn't be happier for you, Melody. Well done. Yeah, guys, Craig, honestly, well done. Delighted for you. Lads, I'm so slack with the passes. I know there's a few passes from earlier in the week. I even said to myself, right, I'm going to move them straight to the slideshow. That was my plan after last week, and I forgot. If I forgot your pass, I'm really sorry. But look, congratulations to everybody that did pass. Over the moon for you all, and thank you so much. Really appreciate you all. So we're going to get into a few of the questions. What's the crack, Gina? So, how you doing, everyone? So, somebody said, I just wanted to ask about the motor tax. Do I need to include my partner's name on the motor tax? So, there's a lot of confusion with motor tax, and now since they're asking for this insurance details, when you buy motor tax, that's for the vehicle. So, you're taxing the car with that. So, when you sell the car is taxed for the next person. So nobody's name is on the tax. It's just registered to the vehicle. So don't worry too much about producing this in your driving test. I think that's why there's a lot of confusion about this. Below, sorry, I had to move my head there from the corner. Below I've seen some confusion across Reddit. First of all, if you're getting your advice off Reddit, you want to give that over. That's just a lot of people with an opinion. If you have a question about anything regarding the rules of the road or anything like that, go to the RSA website and go to the rules of the road book. You'll just get everybody contradicting themselves on forums like that. I'd never go onto a forum like that. So I've seen some confusion on Reddit when you can drive alone after passing. Not a concern of mine right now, but it would be good to have it clarified. Some say immediately, some say after you get the physical license. This is why you do the theory test. All these questions, you've actually had to answer them correctly doing your theory test. The question on the theory test is, are you allowed to drive on your certificate of competency? That's that little piece of paper you get when you pass. And the answer is no, you have to wait until you have the physical license. I think that was my cousin that asked that. Shame on you, Natalie. You know better. You passed your theory test recently. So yeah, you have to wait to have your physical license. That's the rule. Now, it'd want to be a really hard Garda to do you on that. But at the end of the day, that is the rules. That's what you signed up for when you done your theory test. Next, we have fail and talent, trying to book a retest. Is the wait time long? Does anyone know? Do you still have to wait for the invitation? So with talent, so I can only go off what I hear of all the students saying. It seems to be that talent is a longer wait list than the other test centres. Um, that's just the feedback I'm getting, that people are waiting a lot longer for Tala than they are in other places in Dublin and outside Dublin. But I have another comment coming up soon to help you with that one. I'll bring my head back. So, and then one of the lads from the group said he was waiting 10 weeks for an invitation after he failed the first time. He failed the second time in January and got an invite 4 weeks later, and that was for Finglas. Finglas seems to have a bit more availability. And so this is the oldest trick in the book. We're doing this trick since like 2020. Well, since after COVID, there was a lot of this is when this My Road Safety came out, was around that time. And this has been the best trick to get up the queue. So the trick is you book for the test centre. So if you can book the shortest time, say for instance, as this person said, Nice, once you're on the queue and you get your invitation for Nice, that's when you change test centre to the test centre of your choice. So that has been the one that works for the longest amount of time. So that's the one. If you need your test in a hurry, that would be the best way. Now, the good news is, because summer is starting, the days are getting longer, which means the test centres are open for longer. They start earlier in the morning and then they close later on in the evening. So once the clocks, at Easter, they go forward or back, I don't know. So I think if they go forward, they will be open a lot later in the evening. And that's when a load of dates will be available and you will get your invitations a lot sooner. So just be ready to pass the next one if you weren't successful in the last one. So just please, about the new rule, I have insurance and it is in my name. Do I need to take any paper or letter to the driving test centre as proof, or just the one in the car is okay? So they would have emailed you this about what to bring. Going forward, you have to bring the paper with your name on it, the one that was attached to the disc. I wouldn't recommend going up with a screenshot or anything like that. Just print it out and do what they said. I haven't seen an updated email saying that a screenshot would be okay. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But read the email they sent you. Don't read the email, get all the information and do the opposite. You're setting yourself up for failure. Just do what they say. Everybody will be happy. So this one from one of our ladies, Tala. So chevron markings. So theory, we read that should never enter this area. Towards Tala Hospital, when turning right, there are these markings. People use this space to move in, to turn right, to avoid blocking the lane. Are we allowed to do that, basically? So the answer is no, you're not supposed to do it. And if you don't do it, you're obeying the rules of the road, so you can't be marked for that. The only thing is that a lot of the time, what people do is, if they know they're turning right and there's hatch markings there, what a lot of people do is they hold it really left and they try to move in really late. And that's when it gets really awkward. And that's when you're really blocking the lane. So what I would recommend, I hear I'm turning right at the lights. We do our mirror signal, getting your position over to the hatch markings. When it comes to them hatch markings, like if your right wheels touch off the line a little bit, not the end of the world compared to leaving it really late blocking the lane and coming in really late, blocking the lane. If you can get out of the way and if your right wheels touch the line, not the end of the world. What you don't want to do is just move all the way out to the middle and drive straight over the hatch markings. That would be a problem in your test, I would imagine. Next, we have when turning right at a signalized crossroads. Is that word? Is that word? I don't know. Good word, by the way, Syed. Hope all is well with the driving, bud. When turning right at the signalized crossroads as the first car, you usually wait in the yellow box for a gap or for the right, or the light. Sorry, I can't read today. For a gap or for the light to turn red before completing the turn. Okay, sorry, I'm awake nearly a very long time. So what he's saying is, I'm in the middle. It's a green light. The light is turning amber. The light is turning red. What do we do? Your only job is, provided it's relatively safe, you have to clear the junction. That's the main job. What what would happen if you didn't is, okay, I'm in the middle of the junction. The light has gone amber. The light has gone red. I'm going to wait here. Now the cars from the other side of the junction have a green, and now you're going to infuriate everybody because you're just blocking the whole road. So just remember, the traffic lights, when you're in the middle of the junction, the traffic lights are not really for you. They're for the people behind the line. So you cross the line when it was green. Your only job, when they start slowing, you start going. That's the best way I can kind of explain that. There is certain scenarios where you can't necessarily do that. I know, particularly in Tala, it's unusual in Tala because you have to mess around with a Lewis as well, and the Lewis adds a lot more complexity to it. So with that, it's hard to explain that one because I haven't seen it enough times to figure out what to do with that Lewis. But I haven't seen it enough times to give you a correct answer. But if the cars are slowing and you can go and it's safe, you have to clear the junction. In other test centres, it might happen where, okay, it's gone amber, it's gone red, the cars are still coming, and now there's a pedestrian crossing on as we want to turn right. In that scenario, we can't really drive through the green, man. If this did happen, you would be goosed in your driving test and you would probably fail. And that was no fault of yours, but you're just stuck in the middle of the junction because other people were breaking the lights. So in that scenario, you're kind of just, because of other people, you would fail your test. But also, if you waited behind the line for a safe gap, you would also fail. So you're just goosed either way on that one. So it's an unfortunate situation. That, what's that other one say there? Oh, sorry. So, but what should you do if the light turns red? Cars from the opposite direction keep coming late. Sorry, that's what I did answer. Sorry. Hope that made sense, bud. Let me see what's next. So, question for tonight. When on my test coming out of a T junction turning left, the tester said I should have waited for the cars to fully finish turning right into the road. I think you mean turning left into the road you are on, and not trusting the indicators. That's what we always say. We never trust anybody's signal. Confused by this because thought that would be a mark for progress. So we never trust anybody's signal. And I know, yes, we done lessons ourselves. When you're at T junction, if there's cars coming and they have that signal on, you have to wait until they actually start steering before you pull out in front of them. You never know. It happens every day. Yeah, grand. It happens sorry, I put the comments on the screen there. It happens every day that, so we'd be on a lesson, we'd be sitting there and you'll see a car with a left signal on and the person say, I'm going to go for it. And I say, don't, they're not turning. They will just continue straight. They won't even realize that signal is on. So when they start steering, yeah, you can start going, but also be mindful of there could be a car really close behind them that's going really fast. You don't want to pull out as the cars turn left and the car behind accelerate at you, because if you make them slow down, you would fail your driving test for pulling out in front of somebody. So it's a tricky one that, and you do feel like a bit of a lemon sometimes because you're saying, oh, I should go here, I should go, but you have to be patient. When you know the last car is definitely turning and they start steering the wheels, then you go for it. Same at a roundabout. Don't trust anybody's signal. And the one on the bottom here, any tips for passing in Colester? So if Craig is here, Craig knows the answer to this. So as always, what I say is learn your signs, learn your questions, learn how to move off from a park position correctly. Be good at the reverse around the corner, the turnabout. What else is there? Stop at your stop lines, check your blind spot moving off, all the usual stuff. It doesn't matter what test centre, it's all the same stuff, just in a different area. The one thing I will say about Colester, the Colester and Rainey, testers are sound. Come on, Craig. Testers are sound. The routes, personally, I like them, but they are difficult. They're narrow. There's loads of turns. I think they're good fun because you're turning right, you're turning left a lot. Be good at mini roundabouts in Raheny and Colester. That's the one advice that I would give for there that I wouldn't give many other places. So mini roundabouts for you. Who was that? Nicola. Let me see. Where else? Is there anything else here? So this is a good question here. So I'm on a 50 road with small squared speed bumps. Should we always go down to gear second and in a range of 20-25 if I cannot straddle it because of park cars on the left? Will I be marked for progress if I do that on the test? Yeah, good question. So with them speed bumps, so he's talking about the ones that are broken and there's kind of one here and they go across the road. Sometimes there can be 3 across the road. Sometimes there can be 2 or sometimes there can be 4. So ideally with them bumps, we straddle the left one. Straddling means putting like the bump in between your wheels. So you drive over, putting the bump between your wheels. So ideally we straddle the left one. If there's a car parked on the left one, it depends how many bumps there is. If there's 4 bumps, you just straddle the second one. If there's 3 bumps, you just give your doors width and you put a wheel over each bump and just treat it like a normal bump. In that scenario, what's the question again? So it just depends on how big the bumps are. If the bumps are relatively smooth, you don't really need second. It's also not wrong to use second. But if your car can go over them comfortably in third, you don't really need to drop down. You can just drive over them. But you won't be marked for progress if you have to put 2 wheels over 2 bumps. It's just like a normal bump. You know what I mean? So yeah, what else? What's below there? So I'm taking a right turn in a junction. We are supposed to take, I had to hide them comments, I can't read that. We're supposed to take the leftmost lane after the turn. Is it okay switching lanes immediately if the leftmost lane turns out to be a bus lane? Yeah, so where is that? Who asked that question? I felt like I just put that in at the end there. So it just depends. So if that left lane, so yeah, so what you, hold on, let me just read that once more. Sorry, my brain is not working today. So I'm turning right. Yeah, so I'm turning right and there's 2 lanes on the far road. So we go all the way, we're supposed to go all the way over into the far lane and turn into the left lane. If it immediately is a bus lane, just come into the right lane. But if the bus lane starts like 100 meters or more down the road, come into the left lane, mirror signal, and then change lane into the right lane. Just who asked that question? What test center is it? And I'll see if I know the corner you're talking about. So this is awkward to word. just as long as it's easy to read, I don't care. So I was waiting to turn right after traffic lights. The light went green and the car in front went into the yellow box, so I stayed behind the line. My the fuck is that? My partner said I should have moved, but if I did, I would have ended up stopping in the middle of the traffic light. So was I right to wait behind the line until the yellow box was clear? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So both answers are correct in this scenario. You, if one car goes up to the middle, the second car is allowed wait behind the line. Also, the second car is allowed follow them up, provided there's enough space to fit two cars. When in doubt, do what you done, wait behind the line, and then if it's still green and the car in front moves, then you can go up, and that is perfectly fine. You are allowed to do that. That is no bother whatsoever. Both is correct in that scenario. The only problem with the fourth scenario is if, like, remember we were saying earlier on, if the cars keep coming and they break the red light, and then the fourth car goes really late, that means the second car will have to go really late. Good man. You are right. Tell her you are right. Sorry, I put the comments back on the screen there. Yeah, so that was correct, but she was also correct as well, but you don't have to tell her that part. And that's all from the WhatsApp group there. So yeah, I'm gonna just have a quick look at the comments section here. Feel free to add a few questions there while we're here. So we have Bilal, what's the crack, bud? Pass your test in Dundalk. Congratulations. You're welcome for the videos and the test routes. Thank you so much for watching them, bud, and safe driving in the future. How you doing, Roisin? You have your test tomorrow. How can I deal with the nerves, and what is the biggest thing people fail on? For the nerves, it's just everyone is nervous when they do a driving test. It's designed that way. You're supposed to be nervous. It'd be weird if you weren't nervous doing it. It's all about you being able to keep the nerves on the inside, drive well, do the rules of the road under that little bit of added pressure. What's the biggest thing people fail on? It just depends on it depends on the person. Some people are just really slow and they fail on progress. Some people just can't get the reverse around the corner. It just depends. Some people have things they prefer and they find other things difficult. The thing I probably see marked the most, what will be marked the most? I used to say position or observation, but I'm not too sure about that anymore. The one thing about position and progress is they're kind of being monitored the whole time. You always have to be in correct position for what you're doing. And you also have to be like going when you're supposed to be. Yeah, well, not so much progress, I suppose. Position. I'm going to go with position. I used to always say position anyway. So best of luck, Roisin. Let us know how you're going on next Tuesday. What's the crack, Gina? You're welcome. Thanks so much for joining. This will probably be the last time we see you, unfortunately, because now you're a full licensed driver. Over the moon for you. Well done. Pedro, what's the crack? What advice would you give someone who failed, and can you still rent an instructor's car? Yeah, so that insurance policy thing is only if you're driving your own car. The instructor has an ADI policy, and that ensures you to do your driving test in his car when the tester is beside you. So that's a different policy. That's not your concern if you're in an instructor's car. What advice would you give someone that failed? So just what people in their head is, okay, I failed for position. I'm only going to work on position and not think about anything else, which is not the correct way to do it. It's all about just putting it all together. As you're fixing the position, you should be also fixing everything else that goes around it. Like, what am I trying? The tester's not going to mark it on absolutely everything. If you're not going to pass, they're not going to absolutely crucify you with everything. They'd say, okay, this is the main thing, position. They mark you with that mainly, just for instance. And then it's all about just fixing everything, but don't only solely work on position. Back to the drawing board and just try make it make it polished all around. You don't want to be like random. That's what I say to a lot of people. It's still very random. It's like one good left, one medium left, and one not so good left. All the randomness has to be gone. It has to be consistently good across the board. What's the crack, Alan? What's the story, bud? I hope you. How did you get on with your lessons that we were talking about? Did you get your date for your driving test? So how you doing, Tajin? How can how I can book your lessons? So the first link in the comments is my link. You can fill that in, and I'll see if I can help. It will be me or one of the lads, but we'd be happy to help. Well, that's the crack, Kira. Good to have you here as always. How you doing, Sarah? I think you're only a new member to the WhatsApp group. Thanks for joining. Go man, Craig. Out of habit, I used to stop by pushing my gear to park, then pulling the handbrake. There's no problem with that whatsoever. Just I wouldn't recommend doing that at traffic lights or anything. I would, if I'm parking at the side of the road, you can go into park, then handbrake up. Just make sure your car is fully stopped before. It sounds like when you're saying you're pushing it into park. Oh my God, what is wrong with my words? When it says that you're pushing it into park, just make sure the car is fully stopped. You'll wreck your gearbox if you're still rolling and you're pushing it into park gear in the automatic. But it doesn't matter what order you do it in. Handbrake up into park or into park, handbrake up. Doesn't matter. What's the crack, Adam? Thanks for joining us again, bud. Just one question. Is it okay to indicate early or big lane of traffic if you give... Is it okay to... I'm going to assume this word is indicate, but it says indicate early or big lane of traffic if you get... Arden, are you on the points? You had to rephrase that, but I don't know what you're asking me. First day of Cheltenham today, is it? You're probably out on the points, no doubt. What's the crack, Sarah? There. You asked me that. Yeah. Be patient. I had to go down through the list. I know it's your first day. I'll let that slide. And I'll sort out a rent a driver app so us learners can drive around. I did try that before, and apparently you're not allowed to do it. Do you mean like a rent a sponsor? Because I did dabble in that idea, but it turns out you're not allowed exchange your services for money. So good thing I didn't launch that. Go man, Craig. Stick it on our face. How you doing, bud? Can you teach me category C? Like, we're not here for that, you know what I mean? No, I can't. I could, but I can't. I haven't got a truck. Can you get more than one grade 2 for the same scenario? For example, 2 grades for position and observation for the same turns. What I do always say is one mark follows another. So usually what you'll see is whatever. Like, let me so for instance, let me think. So say for instance we're turning left and there's a pedestrian crossing the road and we continue to drive at the pedestrian. So the tester could mark you for observation for not seeing the pedestrian, but also reaction to hazards for driving at the pedestrian. And there could also be another one there for anticipating others. So I will always say that this mark is probably related to this in all the marking sheet videos that I've done. How you doing, Silvio? Thanks for coming again. My test did not go forward because of the green strip on the insurance disc missing on my sponsor's car. So frustrating, lost all my motivation. But you've been attending these calls. I have spoken on every call about the green strip. Like back in the day, we never had these. Back when I was doing my driving test, I never had these resources. We used to just wing it. We used to read wherever we could. You're getting spoon fed the information here, and we're still not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Spoon fed. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to hear that, bud, but that that was like the time when I was in the test center a while ago, and I was talking to two people, talking to a girl, and it's like, me fella just went out on his test there, and then he walked back in about 2 minutes later, and then he came back out, and we were saying, what happened? He's like, oh no, I couldn't do my test because I had no text. And I said, yeah, it has to be valid and dating in the window. He's like, yeah, I've seen that in your video, but I have an email. I'm like, what can you do? You know what I mean? What can you do? How you doing, Denise? What's the crack? Good man, Arden. Well, then rephrase that question because I haven't got a clue what you're asking me. I can see it down there below. Thanks, bud. How can I book a pre-test with you? The first link in the description. Click that, fill it in, and I'll see what I can do, bud. So you were saying, is it okay to indicate early, for instance, in a big lane of traffic to traffic lights? Yeah, like once you get the direction, especially if you know if there's a lot going on, yeah, and you want to be moving out earlier, yeah, you do mirror signal right a bit earlier, pick up your position earlier so everybody knows what you're doing. So yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Well done, bud. Christine, how you doing, Christina? So say you're going straight ahead at a roundabout and the lane splits and you have to take the right side. Should I indicate right? Not really, no. You just kind of, I'm driving up the road, driving the road. The left lane must be for left only. Make sure the left lane is left only. If it is, that's when you're saying, okay, it's split into the left, just mirror, pick up your position for straight. Is that Tala you're talking about, or is that, where else is there? Could be R10. In any of them scenarios, I would just right mirror, stay right. If you signal right, people will think you're taking the third exit at the round. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Even if it's not an actual lane change, yeah, just check your mirror and just stay right. Don't signal. There's no need. Yep, exactly. That's what I said there. How you doing? Oh, I can never say words that start with X. I just don't know how to pronounce that. So my testing Tala didn't go ahead this morning as I'm named driver on my mum's car, but had the insurance cert on my phone from AXA. They wouldn't accept the phone. So yes, spent most of the day crying. I know. It's a bit unfair when they just bring something in as of yesterday and just expect everybody to know. But they do have to bring this rule in. So it's really hard, like, to tell everybody and get everybody to do it. I'm really sorry to hear that. It's just what they're doing is now. The reason why they want to see that is because there's people, the testers getting into the same car on several different occasions, and they know that the person doesn't own the car. And just to avoid testers getting into cars without insurance, they need to see your name on the document. So I'm sorry to say that, but going forward, it's going to have to be printed. All right. So look I'm sorry to hear that, and look, you'll have your day. I promise you. You'll get your test the next time. No, it's Waterford. Actually, there's a few lead ups to roundabouts like that. Interesting. I've never been to Waterford, so that's interesting to know. So yeah, just check your right mirror, hang it right, and then go straight. A very common mistake what people do when they're going straight through from the right lane, they approach on the right and then beeline into the left-hand side of the roundabout. If I approach on the right, just come onto the inside lane and then mirror, signal left and exit on the left. But don't come onto the roundabout and do a sharp left to go around the outside. And that can be a bit confusing for everybody. You're welcome, Sarah. Thanks very much. How you doing, Talha? Booked my driving test in the dock on August 2025 in advance, and my 6 months complete in February. When I am accepted to get the date. You asked me when are you getting your date? Go to your My Road Safety and go to your estimator. Any idea which route in Raheny they would go with in the mornings? I haven't done Raheny in a long time. I'm a bit out of practice in Raheny. What's the story, David, by the way? How you doing, bud? Best of luck. What time in Raheny? If it's the 8:25, that's a tough time in Raheny. No matter where you go, you're goosed. Just for traffic. I actually don't know the answer to that. I'm out of practice and haven't been there since, haven't walked Raheny in a long time, and I never used to do the mornings either. You're welcome, and I'm sorry to hear that, and thanks so much for watching the videos. I'm glad they're helping you the last few weeks, and don't worry, you'll have your day. Everyone has their day. So how you doing, Sam? Just put in for my test Navan for next week. Any last minute tips for Navan? Things to look out for. Craig, do you want to answer this one? So with Navan, so I've done a few test routes there. I was there twice. I've done 4 routes one day and then another route with Glenn another day. With Navan, I found Navan pretty easy. Not that it's easy. I don't mean it to say it's easy. I just find it in comparison to the likes of Finglas or Raheny, there's just the area is not that big. Once you drive around it a few times, you kind of get an idea of where they're going to bring you. Like the turnabout is only going to be in a few places. The reverse is only going to be in a few different places. I can't really say what the tests are like. I've never worked Navan. But it always comes down to the usual. Learn your signs, learn your questions, check your blind spot moving off, stop at your stop lines. With Navan, there's a lot more bigger roundabouts. There's them roundabouts with the zebra crossings as well at the super value. They're tricky. Where was I? Be good at your reverse around the corner. Yeah, turnabout. Get really proficient at them and just trying to put it all together and make it consistently good. That's the trick with any of the test centers. And that's it. We're out of comments. Anything else there? So there's a rude comment on the screen there. I'm sorry about that. You know what I mean? It's always going to happen. But the comment that was said there, highly unlikely if you're spamming on a YouTube video. Very sad person. Very sad. But look at here we are. That's the world we're in. Any more questions while we're here? Just put in for my test in Navan for next week. Any last minute tips for Navan? Hang on. Sorry, I read the wrong one that time. Sorry, bud. Thanks for all the videos. They're great. You're welcome, Sam. Best of luck in the test. Thankfully, the test is at 11 in the morning. Perfect. Should be grand in Navan. Also, if you said it's next week, did you? I think the schools are off next week, are they? It's St. Patrick's Day on Tuesday, I think, isn't it? And yeah, that's it. Any more questions? I'll stay for a few more minutes if you want. Also, I am going to be taking a bit of time away in April. I'm still going to be doing these calls, but I need to take a break from the car. I've had a long couple of years. So I've very limited availability. I'm going to head to Spain for a few weeks. I'm going on the 3rd. I might have about 2 or 3 slots available only. If you do want to book in for Tala only, happy to help if I can. Also, I do have all the other lads that can also help, so you're not going to be left stuck either. Also, if you go to the comment section, there's about 30 videos in the pre-test playlist. All the questions you need, your signs, your questions, your moving off, all the important stuff. It's all for free. It's just watch it and try to take in the information. I also started a video there today, but I didn't get to finish it. It's about a common question we get about overtaking buses and cyclists on a continuous white line. I kind of started it, and then the lighting got really bad, and I bought some lighting, but it didn't really turn out great. So I'm going to try and get that recorded for tomorrow, because it's a good one, that questions people usually ask. Also, if you want to join the membership, it's the second link in the description. I'm going to be taking requests from the members and answering your questions in greater detail on the whiteboard. So if you want to join the membership for that and you're supporting the channel. I have a few more questions here. So what's 2 or 3 things you see the most for fails that come up again and again? It just ends. It's random. Like the reason why people fail the most, position observe, but like it just depends on the driver. Like if you're driving 20 years from another country, it's always reaction to hazards without a shadow of doubt, and position and observation. Whereas if you're only a new driver, it can be more reverse around the corner, progress. It's the one thing that I will say, it's never usually people get too many marks for mirrors, signals, traffic controls. Like it's hard to kind of answer that. It just depends on the driver. Position and observation, I'm going to go with that for now. And progress. Progress is the silent killer, because you think you're doing great. You're like, oh, I'm nailing this test. And the test is like, oh, I'm wrecked. This is just way too slow. And you think you're doing great, and the tester crucifies you for going too slow. The one mark I hate to see is progress. So just, it's all about knowing when to go and when to slow, and not doing it all backwards. Test is at 9:15 in Raheny. Am I still goosed? No, you'll be grand at 9:15. You'll start driving about 25 past, and all the kids will be in school. And it's a nice time for Raheny. So you will do very well at that time, I'm sure of it. But best of luck. Come back next Tuesday and let us know how you do. How you doing? A man with no name. So never drove before. I'm planning on driving and been watching your videos. I'm 30 years old. Wish I learned sooner. You're still only a baby. Back in my day when I was 30. But yeah, so look, it doesn't matter. Yeah, eventually a lot of people start driving when they're 30. So it's not as if you're the only one. People do, life gets in the way. Some people start a little bit later than others. And it doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 30. It's just getting started, passing your theory test, starting your lessons. You're not going to be able to just drive a few times and be test ready. It's just the process, the same as learning every skill. Little by little, get better every day. And then you will have your day and you will have your license, and this will all be a distant memory. So best of luck. Let us know how you get on, man with no name. All right, Sky. So that's just any tips for Tala? It seems very difficult. Craig, you know the answer to this one. So with Tala, it just, so Tala is a mixed bag. It just depends what route. It's like polar opposite the routes. If you go out of test centre and go left and you go up the Bellegarde Road and do the big roundabouts, it's fast roads, it's big roundabouts. Whereas if you go right out the test centre and down and left on the Green Hills Road, it's the polar opposite. You go into the housing estates, it's loads of lefts, loads of rights. It's all about just just learning. Like it doesn't matter where the test driving is driving, but the more you familiarize yourself with the area, the easier it gets. And yeah, just trying to put it all together and make it consistently good across the board. Best luck in your test, bud. Will you be able to do a mock test at Raheny by any chance? How you doing, Seb? So I am looking for volunteers for more mock tests. So I've done a good few in Tala because that's where I'm based at the moment. But to keep the channel diversified, I did finglas with Melody recently. I need someone for Mulhuddard, just throwing that out there. I also want to do one for Raheny. So if you fill in the link, hold on. I have a better idea. Hold on. Show. So there's my number there on the screen. WhatsApp me there. And I will go back to the comments here. So just where are you gone? Where are you gone? Where are you gone? Did you get my number that time? So if you didn't get it, just I'll put it back on. It just disappears after 10 minutes. But I need to keep the questions on the screen so I can read them. So yeah, I'm looking for volunteers, Mulhuddard and Raheny. Roundabouts are the toughest and reverse parking. Is it for all? Roundabouts are the toughest and reverse parking. Is it? Yeah, it's just repetition. It's just doing a lot of time. I just tell people you just have to do them wrong a few times before you figure out how to do them right. So if you're just looking at it saying, if you're looking at it from a distance saying, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, you'll just overthink it, and you'll. It's just about you have to just go for it. You know what I mean? Uh, I'll give you a fun fact. The first day I ever drove a car, it was a little Ford Transit caravan. The very first time I drove from the job I was working in Ballymount straight down to the Walkinstown roundabout. Done the Walkinstown roundabout, couldn't even use a clutch. And yeah, it's just about, I don't mean wing it, but you have to just attempt these things. And the more you do them, the easier they get. So give it a bash, bud. Have you any opinions on the second-hand car market at the moment? A family member of mine imported a nice Kia Sportage days from England and reckon it's way cheaper. So this was my business before I was doing driving lessons. That's my name, ADM Driving School for Anthony Dora Motors. So that was my baby before I done this, and that will be my baby when I finish this. I've just gone a really long way around it. So cars from the UK, yeah, they are good, but ever since Brexit, they kind of brought in that extra NOx tax, which although you can save money and get a higher spec car, it's not the same caliber as you could in 2019 and earlier. The second-hand market is great at the moment. The Japanese cars are just superior quality, and because there's so many of them, they're actually really cheap. You can get a really good auto. Now, the only thing is they're all automatic. If you want to drive manual, this is the first time this has ever happened, actually. It's actually more expensive to buy a manual car at the moment than it is an automatic, just because the amount of automatics online, it's nearly double the amount of manuals, just because of the cheap, high-quality Japanese imports. The only thing, lads, if you're getting a Japanese import, just be very mindful of the model you get. If you have a Vitz, I don't mean to bash our Vitz around, but they're just very high risk for being stolen, just because they're very easy to steal. And anything like that has anything with a start stop button, they're usually okay. But it's the ones with the key, with the old transmission, they're very easy to steal. So just get quotes off your insurance company before you buy an automatic car. But a lot of the second-hand cars on the market are pretty good quality because of Japan. The English ones are good as well, sometimes. Any advice for keeping the right distance clearance driving on a road with parked cars on either side? Yeah. So when there's cars on either side, so if there's cars parked either side and you know there's enough room for a car because there's a car in front of you, you've just went through it, or you just know there's enough room. What people do is they try to aim the left side of that car and try to miss the car on the left. It's really hard to judge that. I can't even do that myself. What I do is a car either side, I get myself over to the right hand side and I just make sure I just miss the car on my side out my window, and then the left hand side will look after itself. That's the best way to judge that one. Don't look for the left side, look at your side. And if you're just about missing the car on your side, you should be okay on the left. How you doing? A man with no name. You're in Mayo, but seeing the videos you do in Dublin with the roads, I feel a bit. Yeah, Mayo driving, I'd say it's a much more relaxed pace, is it? You seem tired. Have a good sleep. Thanks very much, bud. Yes, 4:30 every morning I wake up. Have to put in that work. And cheers. Thanks very much, bud. Thank you, Sad. I hope the driving's going well. You'll have no bother in your test, bud. Good man, Craig. Any advice for the Dunleary routes, Craig? So yeah. Learn your signs, learn your questions, check your blind spot moving off, stop at your stop lines. If you come to roundabout and a car's coming from the right, they go first. Be good at the reverse, be good at the turnabout. With Dunleary, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It depends on where you go. Some of it is really narrow housing estates, and some of it is really big roundabouts, like the Graduate roundabout and up to the Sallynoggin roundabout. That'd be a much faster route. With Dunleary, I done one I done a few test routes out there, and I done one mock test with a guy. Apart from that, I've never walked Dunleary, so I don't really know the intricate details of Dunleary. But best of luck, Katerina. How you doing, Jim? Are you allowed to adjust your side mirror before reversing around the corner? And the answer is yes, of course you can. Just make sure you adjust it back before you move off from a park position again. Ideally, you shouldn't really need to adjust it. Your mirror should be set up so that you can actually see the footpath. But if you feel that it's better to adjust it, yeah, go for it. And then just make sure you fix it before you move off. How you doing, Matthew? Do you have to indicate coming or going into a parking spot? Yeah, of course. It just depends. Like if I'm driving in and just going to use Tallaght or Finglas, they have a big parking bay. I'm going into this spot on the right, I would mirror signal right, because especially if there's a choice of going left or right, let everybody know that you're going that way or that way with your signal. I would love to do a mock test. I'm going to be honest, but your driving is too good to do a mock test with you. I'd have nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? Text me. Text me and we'll see what we can do. I did 3 mock tests in Tallaght last 2 weeks and got most faults I got were for position turning right on the bigger junctions, misleading signals on roundabouts, slow progress in 50 zone. So correct position turning right, misleading signals, that's thing. When you get stuff like misleading signals and all that shouldn't, that means your driving is still could be a little bit loose. Like if you're getting more, like, okay, one fault position turning right, not the end of the world, but if you're getting several, it just means you haven't mastered the art of the right turn. It probably needs to be a bit more polished. That's what I probably would say to you on that one. It seems like you're probably getting a mixed bag of results. Too slow, position turning right. The marks will catch up on you that sounds like it's a bit loose all over. I try tighten that up before your next test. Good man. You have to let me know ASAP because I will be out. I will be taking some time off from the 3rd of April. Just failed my driving test in Tallaght Test Route 8. I got a grade 3 for not looking into my blind spot when doing the reverse around the corner. All other observations were grand. on the reverse. So I like when you say you done Talit test route 8, what does that mean? Is that like Talit test route 8 on my channel? I just have them numbered test route 8. I don't even know what that is on my channel if it is. So what you're saying is you got a grade 3 for not checking your blind spot when doing reverse around the corner. And yeah, you're supposed to check your blind spot. That's that's what you're supposed to do. If you don't do it, if you just look in your mirror, reversing around the corner, you could. Well, it's happened to you. You got a grade 3, especially if you missed the car coming from behind and you missed the car overtaking you because you didn't check your blind spot. That's a grade 3 all day. How you doing, Samuel? In a finglas Charlestown, at the first roundabout where you take the first exit to Charlestown, there is a sign showing 50. There is a variable indicating different numbers. What should you do? Don't mind that sign is stupid. Don't mind that thing. The digital one, that's you go by your speedometer. Don't worry about that. Them things are always off. I see the sign with 50. Look at your speed. Don't look at your speedometer, but use the speedometer in your own car. Don't mind that other one. Who sent me a fiver? Ah, good man, Sad. Thank you very much, bud. You're a gentleman. I do take gifts. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, bud. How you doing, Cleo? I failed because of the layers now. I failed because of nerves last Friday. Any advice on getting confidence back? I only got 6 grade 2s and 1 grade 3 for hitting the curb in the test center. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So just any advice on the nerves? It's just like everything. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And then, as I was saying to somebody earlier on, you are going to be. Everyone is nervous doing the driving test. Now that you've done it once, now you know what it's all about. You won't be as nervous into the next one, because it's a lot of time it's the unknown and the uncertainty what makes people nervous. Now you know it's not that scary. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, just repetition. Whatever you failed on, just working on that. Drive as much as you can with your sponsor and just go in and nail the next one. Everyone is nervous. It's about keeping the nerves on the inside and driving well under pressure. Best of luck on the next one. Hello to Sky too. I'm sitting for my test. Rahini tomorrow too, but watch most of your videos. Thank you so much. We'll come back and update next week. Thank you very much, Sarah. And I will tell Sky you said hello. She'll appreciate that. She loves the attention. But best of luck. And yeah, I'll see you. Join us next Tuesday and we'll see you there. And you can let us share your pass with us. So best of luck. Have heard that Dunleary has the toughest route. Is that true? Yeah, potentially. Yeah, when I did do routes out there, it is a mixed bag. It's hard to predict what you're gonna encounter. So yeah, they could be difficult. Yeah. How you doing, Sam? That's a very interesting point about automatic cars. It'd be worth keeping an open mind about them. Yeah, the autos are great. They're all great quality, low mile. When I say all, most of them, you'll know the Japanese imports the second you see the ad online. But the majority of them, they're excellent quality. They're well maintained over in Japan. They're serviced regularly compared to here, where we do once a year just because we feel obliged. Over there, they're servicing their cars every like 7,000 kilometers or something. So they're in great condition. Yeah, so, and they're great value for money at the moment, just because there's so many of them. It's mad that it's harder to get a manual now. It used to be the opposite way, but times are changing. How you doing, Amit? How you doing? And on user. When stopping at traffic light, should I go from gear 4, 3, 2, 1 neutral or 4 to neutral? So I wouldn't suggest going 4 neutral. I would I'm on the brake, I'm in fourth, clutch in, into third, off the clutch, stay on the brake and clutch in and stop in third. You want to demonstrate a little bit of engine braking. It's not wrong to go down through the gears, but it's totally unnecessary. You don't need to do it. If you do go through you don't clutch in and go clutch in 4, 3, 2, 1 with your foot in the clutch. You go into third off the clutch, clutch in into second off the clutch, clutch in into first and stop. I don't recommend it's also correct to do it, but it's a lot of work you don't need to do. How you doing, Prod? Got my test on Thursday in Tala. Any last minute advice? Love what you do, brother. Gourmet Mahagod. You're welcome, bud. Thanks so much for the bit of Irish as well. So yeah, just with Tala. So learn your signs, learn your questions. They really want them correct. Learn making sure you check your blind spot moving off. With the roundabouts, it depends what route you take. You could go up and do all the big roundabouts, making sure if a car comes from the right, they go first. Making sure you're solid with your reverse and your turnabout. And me ma's on here telling me to go to bed. And just trying to put it all together. And yeah, best of luck. There's me ma saying, get some sleep, son. You look tired. I am tired. See you on Sunday for Mother's Day, ma. We go for breakfast or lunch or something, all right? Thanks for joining. Join me on YouTube, ma. I get better watch time on YouTube. What grade of fault is getting stuck in a yellow box? 3. It's a failed driving test. How you doing, Aaron? Passed myself there last Saturday and nice. Congratulations, bud. Used a few of your videos along the way. Legend. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Really appreciate it, bud. And safe driving in the future. Well done. Right, lads. There's about 5 questions left and then I'm done. I don't think I have a side light and daytime run light in my car. What should I say if I'm asked by the instructor? It's your daytime is the first click. It's the one before your dipped headlights. In your driving test, the lights they want to see working is your indicators and your brakes mainly. Because you'll be doing your test in the bright, you don't really, although you should have them working, but I don't think they check for them. Is dipped headlights the same as fog lights? Absolutely not. You use your dipped headlights with your fog lights. So bring your mind back to your theory test. You use your dipped headlights at night when there's street lights, bad weather, between dusk and dawn, and when meeting and following other road users. You use your fog lights in dense fog and falling snow, and you use your fog lights alongside your dipped headlights, not your high beams. You're welcome, bud. Best of luck in the test. Is the certificate of motor insurance for the policy? Is the certificate of motor insurance the policy itself? Yes, it's the one that was attached to your disc. How you doing, bud? Just a note on Japanese import. I got one for 11 and a half. What were you driving again? That was a relatively new one, wasn't it? VRT customs included. Yeah, of course. If you're buying a Japanese car, you don't buy it as a. Make sure it's VRT. It has the license plates on the car and it's ready to go. Taxed, NCT, the whole lot. The same will cost 16 in Ireland. A bit of a struggle and wait, but value for money. Yeah, your car was a cracker, bud. Well done. How you doing, David? Done 4 lessons recently with you, and you're the gentleman. Thank you very much, bud. Thank you. And yeah, so you're finished at 12 now. Just keep chipping away what you're doing, bud, and you should have your invitation in a few months. In your case, is it important to stop? Is it important to put the handbrake on the red light? No, not really. You can stay on the foot brake if you want. And this is the last one at 9 a.m. Test in average weather. Would you be right to put on your dipped headlights? I use my dipped headlights all the time. It's not wrong to use them. If it's bright, you don't really need to. I use them all the time. But if it was a little bit dull or cloudy, I would generally use them. Right, so with the fog lights, yeah, use them with your dip. And and I've also got another tip. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that too today. Thank you so much. Boy, Sky at 3. I will tell her that. I will indeed. And thanks again for all the free videos. I have your voice in my head saying fast hands, slow feet every time I do the tornado. That is deadly. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you and so generous. I really do appreciate it. And that's a great way to end the show. We've done an hour and 5 minutes. I'm up since 4:30. I'm getting up at 4:30 again to go to the gym because that's what we do. And yeah, so I really appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for joining the call. Thanks, Ma, for coming on and giving me that last bit of inspiration. I'll see you on Sunday. And yeah, congratulations to everyone that passed that test. Best of luck to everybody that has that test soon. You will have your day soon. Just keep on chipping away, getting that 1% better every day. You will have your license, and this will all be a distant memory, and you'll be driving around and you'll forget all about it. All right. So thank you so much. Thanks so much for the super chats. Really appreciate it, Zella and also Sad. Really appreciate it, lads. And best of luck. Thank you.